Hello friends, today we are going to see the next question, that is maximum price of Codevita 2020 Zone 1. Well, this zone was conducted on 9th and 8th of August. All the very best to the students who are appearing in Zone 2, that is on 15th and 16th of August. Well, let's see this question and the logic and its solution. And just let me tell you, whatever problems we are showing here on our YouTube channel, these statements were they were completely submitted on the Codevita platform. Neither they had any of the time limit exceeded, nor like any presentation error, the memory exceeded, no error. It's completely submitted solutions only. Okay, so just don't worry about that. And students who are mentioning like they did the same thing but they were not getting the correct answer, the reason is you sometimes do the minute mistakes. You just need to go through the program and the logic completely and then understand what was the mistake that you did. Because I'm telling you, I can assure you that this program is completely submitted on the Codevita platform. And if you have not subscribed our channel, then kindly subscribe our channel and please hit the like button for this video. Okay, so let's just not waste time much and let's just go to the logic. What is the logic for this question? My name is Anchal and you are watching our channel, The Insight Coders. So let's begin. So in this question, we are given that we are the martial artists, okay, and we have to win the prize money. So what we want, the prize should be maximum, as it is already told in the statement problem name, right? So this is like all the theory. I'm not just reading it. You can just pause the video and just go through it. What is the main point? That all the opponents are standing in one line and the order is fixed. Just remember, the order is fixed. You cannot change the order yourself. So what the person wants, the person has to choose the opponent such that he gets the maximum price for that. Let's just go to the example and I'll be explaining you from here. You can just pause the video and read whole the theory. Okay. So what we have to do, like we have 4 players. Okay. Firstly, I'll choose 6 as my opponent. And simply what I need to do, I have to see the left and the right element to 6. Okay, that means I just have to deal with these 3 elements. Which one is the maximum? 7. So simply I have to multiply 6 with 7 and I have to add the smaller one, that is 5. So the answer would be 6 into 7, 42 plus 5, it's 47, right? So I just have to remove this 6. Now I'll say I'll choose 5. Again, the maximum is the right one, 7. Multiply 5 into 7, 35, and just add 2. Then whatever is the value, just add it to the previous sum that was due to the 6. Okay. Now we have only 2 elements, so let's just choose 2 first. 2 into 7. I don't have any element to the left, so simply add 0. So it's 14 and remove 2 also. And here it's only 7, so simply add 7. So whatever would be the sum, you just have to find the maximum value. So you have to choose it in such order, right? And you must have to remember that the order of the opponents is fixed. You cannot change them, right? So if you select in the order 2, 5, 6, 7, the answer would be 88. If your order is 7, 2, 6, 5, the answer is 87. If this is the order, then 95. If this is the order, then 97. And finally, if you choose this order, then the answer would be 105. And finally, this one is the maximum one. So what we need to do, we just have to print the sum, which is the maximum one. Okay. Like for that, you just need to choose the correct order. This is the input format, the output and the constraints and the examples. I just don't want to waste time here. I want to explain you it in a better way. Yes. So let's take one example in which first line input is the number of opponents, like it's 3. Then I have to input the 3 elements which are space separated, right? 7, 8 and 9. So what is my next task? My next task is I have to choose one element. Say I am choosing 8 first. Alright. So you can see if I choose 8, I have to multiply with the greater one. Greater is 9. So 8 into 9 and plus 7, which is actually the smaller one, right? The answer is 979. So I'm just saving this value in a variable that is sum. Okay. So what I need to do, I just have to find the total sum. So now I have been done with the 8, so I just have to remove it. Okay, so I'm just removing it. Now let's choose the next number as 7. Just multiply with the greater. Obviously 9 is greater, and since we do not have any value, you can simply add 0, or you can just skip adding something, right? So that means if you are left with 2 elements, simply I can say you just have to multiply both the elements, and that would be the sum, and you just have to add it into the variable sum, isn't it? Now like 7 is also done. Now we just have the last element, and when we just have one element, we just have to add that element to the list, right? And finally we will be getting 151 as the sum for this answer. Okay, you can just test it by taking other cases also. This 151 is the greatest possible solution for it, right? Okay, so let's take one more example, then we'll come to a general formula, right? So here I have 4 opponents, and you can see these 4 opponents are 2, 5, 6 and 7, isn't it? So say I'm choosing 6th first. So what I need to do, I have to see the left and the right element, since the order is not to be changed. So greater one is 7, just multiply 7 and 6 and add the smaller one, that is 5. Similarly, now I have to remove the 6, I have to choose the other element. Say I am choosing 5 now. Now 5 into 7 plus 2, because maximum to be multiplied, minimum to be added. Now 5 is removed, same way for 2. Here 2 is my element, so I will be removing 2. And finally 7, so I will be adding 7. Okay, so let me just tell you a few basic points which we have covered here. So can you see it is in the decreasing order, I should say. Sorry, in the increasing order. From right to left, the rightmost is the greatest one, and same way is with here. So what I'm doing, every time I'm not deleting my maximum element, that was actually 9. I'm not deleting it. So what am I doing? I'm just doing one thing. If I'll not delete it, that means every time it would be the right element, right? So every time it would be multiplied to whatever element it is. Like initially it was 6, then 5, then 2, and right. So multiplying with the maximum element would be a plus point for us. Same way here I haven't deleted 7, and I was keep on multiplying it with whatever the number is to the left of it, right? Second thing, at the end also, when I was just left with 2 elements, you can just see here I didn't deleted this 7 again, because adding 2 will give me the answer it would give me answer 98, right? But adding 7 has given me the answer 10 and 5, isn't it? So it's better that you just take the maximum, just keep it and use it till the end, right? And delete the other elements. So for that I was doing it. Second point, if you are just left with 2 elements, just simply multiply and add it to the sum. And when you are just left with 1 element, just simply add that element, isn't it? But did you notice? Every time the list was increasing for now, but it's not always that even. You know what they used to do? They always give you the public test cases, such that they want you to think for your private test cases as well. They want to see, can you test the software yourself? Because if you cannot make the sample test cases yourself, then how can you go for software testing, right? So this is like what they are just testing. So they haven't given one example. Let me just take it. See, can you see this example in which 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. 7 was coming in between, right? So here, how to do that? So let's see how to do this one. So whenever the list, the maximum element is not at the last position. So what to do in such cases? Just split the list into 2 lists. Can you see? The first list is 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, and the second list is 7, 3, 4, right? So we'll apply the same thing on both of them. First of all, I'm just considering the first list 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, which is actually in the increasing order again, right? So firstly, I don't have to delete 7 because it is a plus point for us that we are multiplying with the greatest, the maximum number, isn't it? So I'm selecting 6. Why 6? Because I can just do one thing. I have to multiply to the left or the right elements only. And if I'll be doing from this, then only I can multiply it by 7. If I just choose 2 first, then I can multiply it directly with the 7. I just told you, order matters a lot here. So we have to go in this direction. So you must have to remember that. Yeah. So the maximum element was 7. So I'll not delete 7. I'm taking 6, which is left to it. Multiplying it with 7, adding 3. Now 6 is removed. We just have 4 elements. So every time the left element to the maximum. So 7 into 3 plus 2, it's 23. Then 7 into 2 plus 1, again 15. Only 2 elements, just simply multiply them. Only 1 element, then simply add it. But let me tell you, if the case is that 7 lies in between, that means the maximum element lies in between, then I just don't want to add 7 here. Because I also have to use 7 in the second list, right? So I am not doing that. So can you notice that my second list was 7, 3, 4. But I have reversed it here. Because I want to use the same logic, and the logic works when I have to go from right to left. So this was the just logic. Since you can also do it from left to right, but at times you get an issue of index out of bound. So you just take care of that. Yes. So you can see I just simply reverse the list, and the list should be 7, 3 and 4. It's a mistake here. Can you see 7, 3 and 4, right? So what is actually happening? Firstly, this is 3 and this is 4. So I'll be adding 7 and multiplying 7 and 3, as you can see here, and I'll be adding 4. Then I'll be repeating the next task, that's 7 with 4, okay, because 3 is done here. So simply 7 into 4, that's 28, absolutely right. And then I'm just left with 7, and this time I have to add 7 also because I'm done with the task. So all I need to do, I just have to add these elements, and the final sum would be 150 in this case, okay. So let's see its code now. So this was in a nutshell whatever we have done. Yeah. So let's see its code. The very first task is to take the input, right? First task is we have taken the input n. Next task is if the person says n is equals to 0, that means we have no opponents. Then we'll simply print sum, which is actually initialized to 0, and we'll simply exit. But if there is some opponent, then we have to input the list of the opponents, okay. So in the else part, I am just taking the input, right? Now the next part, if my n is equals to 1 or it's equals to 0. If it is equals to 1, simply I have one element only. So I am be like inserting that element, assigning that element in sum, and simply print it. But what if else? Why else? Because n is less than 3. That means only it would be 1 or 2. So this is the case for 2. Simply multiply the both elements and just like add it into the sum, right? The third thing, this else part. So how is it working? First task is to calculate the max and the index of the max. So I'm using the inbuilt function of Python to find the index, and that is I, okay. So if the index is like in between, so we need to like divide it into the list, right? So firstly, what I'll be doing, I have to split a complete list into two parts. One till I, and second one is I onwards. So for splitting till I, it is 0 till I. So in Python we have to write I plus 1, isn't it? So this is left with my B sublist, and C is my right sublist, that is I onwards. But why I am using these conditions? Can you see this if conditions? See, the simple reason is if the element, the last element is the maximum or the first element is maximum, then there would not be any left or right sublist in those cases, right? So for that should be blank, and simply we have to add 0 to the sum. So this is the reason, otherwise it will be giving you an error. Now next part. So this part was when I have my maximum element. This is the left sublist, right? What I need to do, if I have 3 elements, so B of I would be 9, that is maximum. We just have to multiply that with B I minus 1, that is 8, and just I minus 2, that is actually 7, just add it simply. So this was a task, and every time I am adding it to the value of the sum, which is initialized to 0, right? And now when this 8 is done, we just have to delete this 8, right? So the list becomes 7 and 9 only. So for that case, what I am doing, I am just shifting the 9 I to the I minus 1 position, and I am inserting a null here by this command. And every time I will be decreasing it when this I minus 1 is greater than 0, till that I have to work. This is the case for if I have just two elements, just simply multiply both the elements and add it to the sum, right? But can you see, this is just for the left sublist, that is B. I need to repeat the same task for C as well, right? So I'll be just repeating the same task for C. You can see here I'll be doing that. First of all, I just have to reverse the right sublist. After that, same way I have to find the maximum, and then I have to repeat the same task. Here it's K, not I. Okay, so the basic simple difference. Otherwise I am doing the same task for like these 3 steps only, but I just replace B by C. And here for if I have just left with 2 elements, and I'll be replacing null. Okay, and this was when I was just having 1 element. Okay, so this was some extra condition that I have already written, and at the end I'll be simply printing sum. Well, this was all about the logic. Let's just see is it working or not. So this is the code I have written. The same code, you can just pause the video and just look after the code. Well, it's exactly the same code that is being written there. Okay, let me just copy the sample test case. I'm just running it, then I am pasting it, and see, it's giving me answer 105. Let's just run for the second test case as well. See, it's completely, absolutely, perfectly working, right? So this was the solution for this question. I hope you understood the logic.
आई होप आपको ये वीडियो लेक्चर पसंद आया होगा। अगर आपको कोई भी डाउट या सजेशन है तो आप कमेंट बॉक्स में जरूर दीजिएगा, और अगर आपने वीडियो को अब तक लाइक या शेयर नहीं किया है तो जल्दी से वीडियो को लाइक और ज्यादा से ज्यादा शेयर करें, एंड प्लीज सब्सक्राइब माय चैनल एंड प्रेस द बेल आइकन्स फॉर लेटेस्ट अपडेट्स। शुक्रिया, धन्यवाद, थैंक यू।